All right, hello. Welcome to my home office. This is where I work some of the time, most of the time. It's near the end of 2025. We've been having a pretty busy year, to be honest with you, and therefore I have not posted a video in a minute. So I'm going to do my best to post a bit more in 2026. I wouldn't call it a New Year's resolution because I don't really believe in those types of things, but you know, I do enjoy doing this, so I'm going to do my very best to post a bit more. Hopefully in 2026 I will be able to do more of the type of travel I prefer, which is kind of in the truck. We did get a new, I'm not going to spoil too much, but I will say retro 1970s camper trailer. And I'll leave it at that. I'll make a video on that in the new year, but it is pretty sweet. And it's been a lot of work, but I'm excited to show a little bit more about that. Anyways, before the year ends, I want to make 2 videos. I've kind of challenged myself to make 2 videos before the year ends, and they're both updates to previous videos that I've done. So 2 of the, I think my second and third video that I did were about my EDC and the gear and tools that I use, and then about the truck that we rely on for working on our property, hauling lumber, hauling stuff to the dump, and now towing our camper trailer. Both of those things have had some significant changes, but also there's been some consistency, and I want to provide an update on what's been going well, what has not been going well, and what I've changed as a result of that. So let's get started. The first category, I guess, is the sling, or the fanny pack, or the crossbody, or whatever the hell you want to call it. This particular bag has not changed in the year since the last video I did. This is the Peak Design 2-liter outdoor sling. And my feelings on it are a little bit more mixed, honestly, than last time I talked about it. So there's been 2 things that have bugged me about this bag. One is the strap system. Most Peak Design products, in fact all the Peak Design products that I've owned up until this one, have had metal hardware. This lineup, I believe all the outdoor line, have plastic hardware. And so this strap, where the length adjustment happens, the hardware is plastic. And I find this to be a little bit unreliable in that it will slowly loosen over time. And over the course of several days, it will get looser and I'll have to adjust it. It's not the end of the world, but it's just not something I expect from Peak Design, and none of their metal hardware has that problem. So I was a little bit surprised. A lot of people online have commented that they have a problem with this buckle because it's, I guess, prone to just spontaneously coming apart, but I've never once had that problem. That's not happened to me a single time. Not a problem for me. The other thing that has started to bug me about this bag is that on the back here, it has this pocket that when you're wearing it, it's kind of here in your right on your chest. So this pocket that opens up, it closes with a magnet, and honestly this magnet sucks. It is not very strong, and so I will put my phone in there when it's on my body and I'm not planning to take it off my body, because nothing's coming out when it's on your body. But if I'm taking the sling off and throwing it somewhere, I'm not trusting my phone in this pocket, because I'm worried it will come out. So I use this pocket for some less important items. I mainly keep 2 things in here. One is a permanent marker. So this is the Milwaukee Inkzall. You just buy a 10-pack of them at Home Depot, and it is just the right length to fit the full width of this pocket. So when you put it in, it kind of snugs down right at the bottom and just kind of sticks in there, and it's really nice. I actually have a random receipt in here that I'm going to take out. The other thing that stays in this pocket is a little USB Type-C cable. This came with the power bank that I'm about to talk about, and it's even got the original twist tie still on it. But it was just the right length, and it's a nice Anker cable, so I keep it in here, and if it's just the right size that vertically inside this pocket, when you put it in, it kind of tucks into the side underneath the flap of, it's going to be really difficult to tell, but like on the side of the pocket, it kind of, there's an overhang or an underhang that this slides into, and it just stays there and it will never come out. So that's that back pocket. For the main pocket, I did do a little paracord zipper pull just because I was learning how to do it and I thought it was fun. And then on the inside, this is what it looks like. This is what it will be on my day-to-day. So in the main compartment, which I usually keep mostly empty, the only thing that's in here is my keys. So I just have them attached to the elastic key holder that comes with the bag. It's my truck key, the key to our cabin, the key to our house, the key to our trailer, and the key for my bow case. I'm a target archer, Olympic style recurve target archer. And so my bow case locks. That's the key to unlock it. The rest of that main area, I talked about this last time, I keep this empty because when I'm out and about, if I want to put, granola bar, sunglasses, water bottle, whatever, I like to have extra space. I don't like this thing packed to the gills. It gets too heavy and then you have no extra room to put anything else in. So what's the point? The next item in here, which is in one of the two kind of mesh pockets, is my wallet. So this is the Peak Design mobile wallet. It is a MagSafe fabric wallet. It will attach to the back of your phone, and it's currently holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. I normally only have 6, but I think my son's health card is in here because we just took him for his 6 months vaccines. But I've had this wallet for years and years and years. It still looks brand new. It's just a magnetic flap. You pull the flap up, the cards come out, you grab a card, and then you push the cards back in, and you flap. And that's all there is to it. And it fits perfectly in the mesh pocket. The other two things, we'll see if I can get this accurately. So this divider that the two pockets are built into, it's really hard to get the right angle on this. There you go. So there's two pockets, and they're built into this divider that kind of divides the front half from the back half of the sling. And in between the two pockets, there's about a 1/2 inch of material that I can clip things onto. And so I have two things clipped there. I have a flashlight and I have a multi-tool. The multi-tool is exactly the same as last time. This is the Leatherman Free P2, the exact same one that I had last time, but I have made a couple of little tweaks to the actual tool itself. So the first thing is that I put some fabric scales, grip tape, I don't know what you want to call it. I believe it's called Ripp's Garage. I think Ripp's Garage is the people who make this. So it's just like a grippy, if you're Canadian or if you play hockey, it kind of feels a little bit like hockey tape. But yeah, it just adds a little bit of grip and, does a bit of a blackout on the sides of this tool, which I really like. The second thing I did was add a 3D printed thumb stud to the blade. So this is something that I got off of Etsy. I normally would have 3D printed it myself, but I sold my 3D printer last year after not using it very much. I hope you can kind of see that. But it just helps open that blade one-handed more easily. And then the third thing I did was actually replace the blade itself. So this is also, funnily enough, off of Etsy. A lot of good Leatherman's accessories on Etsy. So I did replace it was previously a combo blade, so it was serrated and straight edge originally, and I replaced it with this, which is just a straight edge. And it is VG10 steel instead of what I think the original was 1428 CN. I could be wrong about that, but that's what my brain is telling me, so let's go with it. But those two changes made this so much more usable. In fact, I pocket carried this for a full month after I did the upgrades, and I really liked doing that. The only problem was that it's just too damn heavy to keep in your pockets all day long. I really did like having it in my pockets though. But, you know, after that little experiment, and I'll talk about the result of that experiment in a second, it goes back in the sling bag. The next thing on the list is the flashlight. So this is the same flashlight, except I ended up using it so often and found myself going to grab it so often that I upgraded it from the truck toolkit to my sling. And it's the Fenix PD25R. It is an excellent flashlight. It is just the right size to fit in your hand. It is tactical in that it has the clicky tail cap. And then the UI is basically just one button on the side. Oh, I need to charge it. It's got the red light. One button to just change your modes. I usually keep it on mode 2 or 3. Between the cabin and honestly, evening dog walks is when I find myself using this very often, because when the dog does its business in the dark, especially in the winter when it gets dark at like 4:30 and you're trying to find where they did their business, the phone light is awkward and not very bright. And so this, honestly, that's what I use it for half the time. And then the other half the time is when I'm at the cabin and it's dark, I'm going to work on stuff, or I'm going to look at stuff, or I'm going to, you know, get the hot tub ready or do something, or else having a good light is essential. Now, since I took this out of the truck, I did need to replace, because I need to have a light in the truck. And so you'll see what the replacement was when I do the truck video. The next thing in the sling bag is chapstick. Boring. After that is some headache meds. This currently needs to be refilled. I've only got one Tylenol left in here. This is this little case is, funnily enough, my son had some nasal congestion, and so got one of those little baby snot suckers, and it came with these little circular paper filters that you need to replace after each use, and they came in this little plastic case with a little door on it, and I was like, huh, that's perfect size to put some Advil and Tylenol in, and so I did, and it works perfectly. And then the last item is this. This is really the only truly new thing in the bag right now. This is an Anker power bank. I previously had an Anker power bank, 5,000 milliamp hour. This one's 5,000 milliamp hour. Same functionality, but this one has MagSafe. And so I can just slap it on the back of my phone instead of messing with cables. I used to have a little tiny, like 3-inch long magnetic folding in-charge cable, and that thing started being finicky and not working that well. But if you know me, I'm not, you know, into just buying new stuff for the sake of new stuff. I felt that I needed to repurpose that power bank in order to justify getting a new one for my sling. And so that old power bank went into my wife's car because there was no alternative power source in her car. So that gives me a little bit of peace of mind if she ever, you know, needed some extra juice. And then this goes in my sling bag. And because I've been traveling so much, long flight days, this has been incredibly useful. And the fact that it is MagSafe instead of having to mess with cables has been huge. But you still can plug a USB Type-C cable into it to charge other devices, like if I need to charge my headphones, or like I used it to charge the white noise machine for the baby. It's pretty useful. So that is the sling bag, Peak Design, 2 liter, a little bit more mixed on it than I was before. If you have any other recommendations for smaller slings like this, let me know. Not necessarily in the market, but I would like to know what else is out there. I've looked at Peak Design's other slings and they don't really fit the bill for me. This honestly has worked quite well. I'm just annoyed with those 2 little things. So just let me know if there's any alternatives. Okay, so next we're moving from the sling bag. I'm going to move into what I keep on me every day. And before I get into the pockets, I do have a couple of honorable mentions. The dog came to visit, which is why he's getting pets down here. Good boy. So honorable mentions. These are things that I do use, you know, at least weekly, but they're not like EDC, so they're just honorable mentions. The first is a notebook. I used to carry a notebook back when I was like in university, and I used the heck out of that thing. I had it for a long time. I feel, especially when I was in school, just, you know, doodling down, you know, things for classes and project ideas and stuff like that. I used the heck out of it, and then I stopped for a long time. And then just, maybe 3 months ago, I picked up a new one because I wanted to start journaling. And so I went for a Leuchtturm. Let's see if you can, it's a very hard to see logo on this thing, but it's Leuchtturm 1917. This is what all the Reddit notebook people seem to really like, with a Sharpie S-Gel pen. Again, Reddit folks seem to really like this pen. I bought a couple of pens at Staples and then tried them out, and this is the one I like the most. And I'm going to open it because I used it to write down the outline for this video. So let's make sure we're on track. Yes, perfect. So I use this for journaling. I use this for writing down stuff for work before I, transpose it into a document or calendar. I use this to, actually I'm studying for my ham radio license, so I put some notes for that in here for studying, and generally just a great thing to have. So this goes in my backpack anytime I'm traveling, going to the cabin, whatever, and I try to write in it, not every day because that's just not how I am. I'm not writing stuff down, necessarily every single day, but I try to, at least a couple times a week, jot down some thoughts, do some journaling. It's been really nice. The next item is a good set of over-ear headphones. So like I said, I've been doing a lot of traveling this year. Having a good pair of headphones is really important, especially when you're flying, blocking out all that cabin noise. These are the Sony WX1000M4s or 1000 XM4s. I don't know. It's the classic Sony ones. These are many years old at this point, like 3 or 4 years old, but they're still kicking. They still have really good battery life. They still sound great. I think they're up to version 6 now. This is version 4. No complaints. No plan to change them. They fold up real small. Very comfortable. Just great headphones. The next honorable mention is sunglasses. So I bought these sunglasses actually on my honeymoon because I forgot to pack sunglasses, and we were in the Paris de Gaulle airport connecting to Italy where we were going on our honeymoon, and I stopped in at a sunglasses hut or whatever the equivalent is in France and bought these. So they're my French sunglasses. They're Oakley's. I believe they're called something Burn. Saltburn? Manorburn. That's it. It's a weird name, but I only know that because about a month ago I had to get the lenses replaced because I scratched the heck out of them, which was very easy. I just went to the Oakley store here in town and got the lenses replaced for $40. Pretty nice. And then I picked up a case for them because I didn't want to scratch them again, which I also added a little paracord loop to with a Night Eyes S-Beaner on the end, so I can actually clip this to the strap of the Sling if I'm carrying them around, or they fit inside the Sling, obviously. But yeah, honorable mention to a good pair of sunglasses. If you find a pair that you like, buy multiple pairs, or if they're expensive, replace their lenses instead of buying new ones, because a good pair of sunglasses is pretty essential. The last honorable mention before we get to the pockets is this thing. It is big, it is chunky, it is heavy. It is the silliest thing to be packing when you go traveling because it is so big and chunky and heavy. But I love this freaking thing. This little Anker 3-in-1 robot looking charging cube thing. I know they make smaller ones. I know they make travel versions of this, but this stays on my nightstand whether I'm at home or I'm traveling. Woo! Almost lost it. It charges your phone. The AirPods sit here and charge, and then this little arm comes out and the Apple Watch charges there. I put all three on this charger regularly. My phone goes on there every night. You do the standby thing, so it has the clock. So when you're traveling, you got a little station beside your bed. It's silly, and it takes up too much space in my bag, and it's heavy as heck. Like, this thing is a paperweight, but it means that it doesn't move around when you take your phone on and off the magnet. And I love it. I'm not going to stop bringing it with me. So those were the honorable mentions. Next, let's get into the pockets. Now, the pockets are honestly pretty straightforward. In the front right pocket, iPhone, which is currently being used to film. It's still the iPhone 15 Pro. I have no reason to change that. I have no reason to want anything else. In the front left pocket, I keep the AirPods Pro 2. Again, same as last year. Everybody knows about AirPods. On the wrist, I have the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Nice titanium case. Nothing really interesting to say except that I did get a new band for it. When I originally bought the watch, it had a fabric band, which kind of got a little stanky after over 2 years, almost 2 years of ownership, and so I switched out. This is made by Nomad. It is rubber. It does not smell, and it is quite comfortable, and I like the blue. Now, on to the knife. So this has been an interesting journey for me. I have over here on my desk, this little Mastercraft toolbox. It's like a tiny toolbox. I love it. It was $20, and I keep my knives in here now. So last time we made this video, I had been carrying this guy for years. This is my mini Bugout. You can see it's like beat to hell. I had this thing in my pocket for years, like 4 years. I had this, maybe even 5 years. I can't honestly remember. I made the previous video about consumerism. I cracked one of the plastic scales. I got that replaced with the Flightanium scales, and now it's good as new. And it's got just the best silky action. You know, this thing has never failed me. It's excellent knife. But as you see, I just took it out of the toolbox instead of taking it out of my pockets. And so what the heck does that mean? Well, I went on a little bit of a experimentation phase in the second half of this year. I mentioned that I carried the Free P2 in my pocket for about a month, and that replaced the Bugout. I didn't see the need to have both a pocket knife and a multi-tool with a knife at the same time in my pockets, and so I let this guy have a little vacation. And you know what? The Leatherman did fine as a knife, and so I, was okay not having my trusty Bugout in my pocket. But like I said, that Leatherman ended up being too heavy, so I went on a little journey, and that journey was little mini pocket fixed blades. So this is the first one I started with. This is an excellent little knife. It's made by a little indie maker called Tactical Pterodactyl. It is a little 3-finger knife with a lanyard to make it kind of 3.5 finger. This is called the Mini Raptor. It is I think it's like a 1.5 inch blade with, overall of like 4 something inches. Like, it's tiny. This thing is like a little scalpel. And I got, as I do for all my, 2 fixed blades, but 2 of 2, I now have an Oak City leather supply sheath for it, because I really like what he does. It's really high quality. It's the kind of thing that'll last you forever. And it's got a discrete concept carry clip, which is like one of the strongest clips in the game. So I carried this for a while in my back right pocket. And so I tried this for about a month. And the fact that it was a fixed blade was really, excellent for me, because it's just so easy to get it out, do what you need to do, and put it away. No fidgeting, no flipping, nothing like that. So I really liked that aspect of it. And I even brought this on a camping trip, and I used it as my camp knife, which is kind of silly because it's so small. But as an EDC knife, honestly, small fixed blades are so nice. But eventually I started getting frustrated with the size. I wish I had gone for the larger Raptor. This is not a fault of the knife maker or the knife. I simply chose the wrong one. I should have gone for the regular size instead of the mini, because this blade is just a little bit too small for what I generally need to do with it, which is all the regular stuff like packages and cardboard and, you know, whatever, but also camp tasks at the cabin when we're going camping, when we're out with the trailer. And so after it was more than a month, it was maybe like a month and a half that I carried this. I did enjoy it, but this didn't quite work out for me. So the other option, the other fixed blade that I have is this one here. This is the Leatherman Garage 007. I think it's called the Malloy Special. So this was a garage release that they did, which is their kind of limited release program. It was before they released all their current fixed blades that people were so up in arms about. If you have seen this before, or if you've seen that knife, you'll be like, oh, but that had white scales. What the heck is this? The white scales ended up getting really gross after using it so much at the cabin. And so I went and put a bunch of coats of blacks, kind of, what's it called? Not resin, enamel. That's what it's called. It's like a spray-on enamel, and then a clear coat on top. And so it blacked it out, and it made it so that this thing doesn't look so dirty, because those white scales looked really gross, and I couldn't get them clean. And so I have this, but this is too big. This, especially in its leather sheath, or the Oak City sheath that I have for it, this is just too wide to fit in the pocket and still coexist with an iPhone. And so while this is excellent, and I use this at the cabin still to this day, I put it in my work pants. It's a great 4-finger knife, MagnaCut blade. It's, I believe, 2.5, 2.8, somewhere around there, inches blade length. It's got a nice belly to it. And it's just like a damn good knife. I don't have to sharpen it that often because it's MagnaCut. Really excellent blade, but it's too big for EDC. So that goes back in the toolbox. So what the heck did I do? I needed somewhere in the middle. I needed my Goldilocks knife. And I heard so many people talk about this knife this year. So many people. They loved it. They thought it was one of the best pocket fixed blades that you can get. So I decided, when they put out a Black Friday deal, or a Black Friday exclusive, I decided to go for it. And that is the Big Idea Designs Lookout. This is the black Cerakote titanium blacked out version that they released for Black Friday. They say it was a limited release. I don't know if it's still available. I don't know how limited that actually was, but I saw this and I immediately was like, yep, that's the one. The blade length is exactly in between those other two, right? So the mini Raptor was maybe this long, and the Leatherman was maybe this long, and this one's just kind of in the middle. So I think it's just over 2 inches, 2.4 inches. I don't know. I'll put it up on the screen. It's a 4-finger grip, and my pinky does not slide off the back. It's got some nice jimping up on the spine that feels really good in the hand. It's got a nice sharpening choil. M390 blade steel, which honestly has held up just as well as MagnaCut for me. I've only had to sharpen this thing once in the month that I've had it. Has it been a month? Yeah, I think it's been about a month. I say I've sharpened it once. I put it on a ceramic rod and a strop once in the time that I've owned it, and this thing still shaves hair. I've used it every single day. It comes with this excellent, this is the only time that I have not gotten a leather sheath for a knife. This one comes with a Kydex sheath with a Big Idea Designs titanium. I think it says TI on it. Titanium pocket clip. This thing is so freaking strong. You will not pull this out of your pocket unless you are taking it out for the end of the day. And you have to literally hook your finger underneath the clip to really pull it out of your pocket in order for you to take it out at the end of the day. But the retention is extremely solid, absolutely no jiggle. It comes out every time, it goes back in every time. Absolutely, I will do this all day long and it's never moving. And it's so narrow. Let's compare this to the size of the leather sheath that the Leatherman is in. That's how thick that is. Look how much narrower that is. It's 3/4 or 2/3 of the width of the leather sheath on the Leatherman. That matters a lot because when it's in the corner of your pocket, I guess I'll just stand up and show you. When it's in the corner of the pocket, like this, I keep it right at the very back of my front right pocket. You can still reach in around it to get the phone in and out, and it never interferes with you getting other things in and out of the pocket. And it's so narrow here at the back corner of your pocket that it just disappears. I don't even notice it. It's like it's the same amount of noticing as the mini Bugout, which is insane because it's a fixed blade. So that's the biggest change to my EDC. I've been carrying this for about a month, and I have no plans to stop carrying it because it's so freaking good. It's comfortable. You can hold it kind of like a push grip, but you can also do like a pinch grip. It's got a sharper point, like a narrower point than the Bugout. So it's better for piercing. It's got a nice flat section of the belly. It's just so good. And M390 has impressed me. This is my first M390 blade. It's really impressed me compared to the S30V on the Bugout, and it's held up just as well as MagnaCut. So I have absolutely no complaints whatsoever. So anyways, that's just about it. That's the gear that I use day in and day out to live my daily life as someone who works from home, lives in the suburbs, but also has a cabin, goes camping, is a dad, just needs to live his daily life. EDC, you know, is anything that you need it to be in order to be ready to tackle your everyday. You don't have to have 10 $500 knives that you rotate between in order to be an EDC person. If it's something that gets the job done and helps you live your life just a tiny bit easier, then it's worth it, and do you. So stay tuned for the next video where we look at the updates to the truck. There's some pretty cool stuff that happened there. There's some updates, some new gear that was required due to some interesting circumstances. So take a look out for that one. Otherwise, I appreciate you watching. If you could do the thing that you know I'm going to ask you to do, which is to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to make more videos in the coming year. It would really mean a lot to me. And I'm trying to come up with a slogan for this damn channel. So I'm going to try this one out. Stay ready, get set, and go enjoy your life. Bye.